my topic for this final project is the impact of social media to body image and relationships. So my first slide is what is body image? And the quote that I took from study notes 2 is the visual image that we have of our body is what we see when we look in the mirror or see pictures of ourselves. This visual image differs from the mental image of our bodies or what we think our bodies look like. And little things that couple lists that I did was how we view ourselves and how we compare ourselves to other people and ideal or goal, especially when comparing of what we want within ourselves and what we see other people doing. Um, and also, body image starts at a very young age. It could start like as soon as they enter school and all that. And then a quote that I took from this YouTube video that was in our course was, quote, I have struggles with my body. I just feel sometimes really insecure in my own skin. And this is coming from a girl named Rachel, who was 14 years old in that video. And everyone from the ages, under 18 are discussing about how they are very insecure and they don't like their body, and it's just very saddening to see and to hear that that's what they think at such a young age already. My second slide is what is social media, and this is a quote that I took from this article is, at its most basic level, it is simply a collection of websites and applications designed to build and enhance online communities for networking and sharing information. And this was from Osborne Goway. And this was a great definition of what social media is. And a couple things I listed was social media is a great way to communicate with others. Social media is also good to share photos, events, and opinions. And it's also one last thing. The biggest thing is I think is advertising. So social media uses a lot of that as one of the biggest thing as well. So I just wanted to add that. And then my next slide is what is Photoshop? And a quote that I took of the definition of Photoshop is, Photoshop makes it possible to crop, delete, splice, compress, stretch, tilt, flip, and recombine brands, modify their contrast level to produce fraudulent but professional looking images. And this quote was from Biagli, and this was a great quote that I took from his article, as he talks about more about Photoshop and how like it's falsely advertising, especially when you're changing things around, try to make it look flawless, especially like what he said, professional looking images as well. And a couple of things that I took note of that was, photoshopping is to hide all the flaws of a picture. It's to add more details to make it look realistic. That could be like, if it was a makeup, promoting like makeup brand, they will make their models look very like beautiful, make the products look better, like shimmer and all that stuff. They also remove objects and also correct lightning and retouching a lot of stuff. So this slide is, how does body image impact relationships? This is a quote that I took from Baker. Since romantic relationships provide a unique context for body image construction, men in relationships logistically construct and negotiate the media's influence on their own body image. And one thing I like to also add is that, although there's a high percentage of females when they think about body image and relate themselves to body image, but also men do it as well. So that also impacts, female male impact the relationship as well. And also it's unrealistic ideal of how each gender should look like in relationship. I think this also goes of like how like men should look like or females should look like. Females should be dressing up more, wearing makeup more, and all that stuff too. And that impacts like relationship because, if you like females stop wearing makeup, stop dressing up, they can put a strain on the relationship. Like, what the men can be like, why don't you do this anymore? Why don't you do wear makeup? Look more feminine. So that could really put a strain into relationships as well as body images are impacted. And then I am talking about the gender norms in this slide. And a quote that I took from our textbook is gender roles are the attitudes, behaviors, rights, and responsibilities that particular cultural groups associate with our assumed or assigned sex. So I think this was a great quote to take out from our textbook and to talk about gender roles and gender norms in general. And then another quote that I took from this article what is similar to everyday life gender norm experiences, individuals perceive the media displaying stereotypical or non-stereotypical gender traits, roles, and occupations. And I think this is also a great quote that I took away from this article as it talks about like the roles and occupations, like for example, as occupations, like if a female was to be working more on hands-on work like construction wise, that's more from like a manly job for males, and that's being stereotypical and all that. And our attitudes, like men, they shouldn't really be doing too much of like or like acting like feminine, and that could be assumed like that's not your gender. You shouldn't be doing too much of that. Just like how I said, how females and males should act, and how social media portrays this, that there's only two ways that you should be acting, especially if you're female or male. And then the next one is how does body image impact sexuality? So I took this quote, which I think was very that really stood out to me when I was watching this documentary, and he said penises are still taboo, and I feel like that makes it very difficult to talk about, especially when it comes to male, they are often don't talk about things like that, and it still sounds like forbidden, weird to talk about it. And then a quote that I took also from the study notes for is baby girls are beautiful and the boys are handsome. Baby boys and girls are dressed differently and treated differently by their parents and the people around them. And then I listed like a couple like expectations, exposure norms, male and female sexual scripts, gender role stereotype, gender roles. And this really, like what I was saying in the last slide, really like correlates with each other, because just because like if males are acting very feminine, that's wrong and you can't be who you are. I mean, just because you act feminine as a male, you're not considered gay, or even if you're gay, it's okay to act feminine, you know. So a lot of that like impacts sexuality, especially when if females just don't like to dress up wearing dresses, they prefer wearing like sweats and just big oversized t-shirts. um, Society takes it the wrong way, and especially when you're not there's like an ideal of how female and male should be wearing, how they should look, and how that affects how who they're attracted to and all that. And then also on the slide was just something that I found really interesting while doing my research and talking about this topic was social media with celebrities. Social media uses Photoshop to show off celebrities a lot, and they use those pictures to Photoshop to make them look flawless on the models, and definitely like I've seen a lot of comparison of like before and after photos, and they really just try to change the models into someone they're really not, and to make them seem like, oh, they're beautiful, they have no flaws, and this is how you should be looking like. And that's where it comes to people who with body image who struggle with that, start looking at these models, looking at these celebrities, and start like, wow, these are very beautiful people who I'm nowhere near them and I want to be like them. And also like celebrities are great used to advertise products and body image. So definitely like big booties, small waist definitely is a trending thing, and they use celebrities for that. And also like a lot of these young teens and adults look up to these celebrities too, so a lot of times you know they think of them as role models, and someone that they want to be exactly like. And so using like from everything that I've talked about, this also correlates to mental health. And a quote that I took from this article is, quote, "I at the time of writing Instagram, a photo and video sharing app downed in 2010 and which has since attracted near global popularity, has been accused of being toxic to teenagers' mental health, especially girls." And I feel like this is like something that we should also talk about when mental health plays a role in our body image and how society or social media portrays it because we want to be accepted. It also leads to like, disordered eating and a lot of things that goes into this. So definitely like a topic that correlates with my topic is mental health, and should just be, cautious about it. And in the future, coming to the end, this is some list that I just put down after, reading everything. I hope that we grow as individuals to accept ourselves, and for social media to falsely stop promoting flawless models when in reality, you know, not everyone is perfect. And for people to know about Photoshop and that is used a lot and there is no perfection. And we definitely need more research when it comes to this topic because there's so many things that are related and are affected with this too. So there just needs to be more research done in this topic. But thank you for listening to my final presentation.